Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again on X. It is at Green_Jericho, on Instagram at JGTalk2. Make sure you like and subscribe and grab yourself some newly designed merch. Now, I am on my way to grab some supplies. My neighbor and I are going to replace our shared fence. If you've ever put up a fence, you know the shittiest part is digging the holes for the posts and pouring the concrete in there. But fortunately, my neighbor, he lived there before we did, so last time he replaced the fence, he used metal poles, so we don't have to replace that shit. Anyway, so you guys may have heard about the story of the 24-year-old father in Georgia who was arrested because he left his 10, 6, and 1-year-old unattended. Guy named Chris Lewis. I'll put a link in the description box so you can check it out. But apparently he was going for a job interview and he walked the kids from his house, which wasn't too far away, brought them to the McDonald's, ordered them some food, and left. And according to the person who called the police, said that he left, returned a little while later, and then left again. He left at 4:30, didn't come back until 6:18, almost 2 hours later. So many questions. On the surface, you're thinking, what a dumbass. Why would you leave your kids unattended? You don't have anybody you could have dropped them off with, daycare, the mother, blah, blah, blah. And then there's, well, once you find out that he is 24 years old and his oldest child is 10, now I know that I made it through the California school system, public school system, but I still know that 24 minus 10 is 14. He was 14 years old when he became a father. So that tells you the nightmare that was his youth. Probably came from a single parent home. I don't know how old the mother of his children are. I'm assuming that she's the same age, but and maybe that it wasn't even him losing his virginity at 14. Maybe he lost it earlier than that. I was talking to a friend of mine not too long ago. He said he lost his virginity at 13 to somebody who was like 16 or 17. I'm like, bro, you didn't lose your virginity. You got molested. He was like, yeah, I know. Obviously not laughing at the molestation. But the way he replied, he's like, yeah, I know. That's terrible. So this young man, unfortunately, created life at 14 years old. The 10-year-old, 6-year-old, and 1-year-old. So people are saying, well, that's too young to be watching your siblings at 10 years old. And the youngest one was 1. Other people are saying, shit, I was watching my siblings at 9 years old. So I don't really have a problem with the age of the child, I should say, because the other one was 6. Can't trust them to do much. But I don't really have a problem with him leaving his 10-year-old in charge for a little while he goes to a job interview. But why didn't he leave them at home? Why would you leave them in a public place? So many things could have happened. They could have left. One of the kids, maybe the 6-year-old, took off. I'm not listening to you. They could have left. They could have been taken. They could have been harmed. They could have been molested themselves. So many things could have gone wrong leaving your children at a McDonald's with a playland. And what happened to McDonald's? Didn't all the McDonald's used to have playlands? What happened? Some of them look like some cold, sterile architecture from the future. What happened to Ronald McDonald and all his rapscallion friends and remember the little ladder you climb up in it and it was a little jail for the little Hamburglar jail? What happened to that? But this dude left his 3 children unattended at a McDonald's for almost 2 hours, so of course he was arrested. You have former NFL player Antonio Brown. He started a GoFundMe. The goal is $50,000 to help this family. So it also brings up the debate of free childcare. Me personally, I don't have a problem with free childcare. free state-run childcare. But Jericho, it's getting the government more involved. Well, what are we going to do? Can we maybe do it at a, like I said, state-run? Keep the federal government out of it. If your state doesn't have the money, maybe talk to another state that has the money that can help you out. But I don't have a problem with some type of free childcare, because you do have situations like this. Now, I don't support a situation. I don't see why you wouldn't have just left them at home instead of taking them out in public where all the monsters are. But maybe there was a monster at home that was worse than the ones out in public. I don't know. But there are parents, and my wife, she's been in childcare. You know, when we had my daughter, we were both working. She was a teacher for special needs kids. Wait, maybe that's why she was attracted to me. Anyway, I'm going to talk to her about that. But she was teaching. I was working, doing my case study behind enemy lines at the People's Republic of Trader Joe's, as my friend Gabe calls it, which is not too far from the truth. But we worked opposing schedules. She worked during the day, obviously being a teacher, and I worked the night shift. I worked 4 to 12:30 to, you know, and at night I would come home. When the baby woke up, I would take her and stay up with her. I'd sometimes stay up till 5 or 6 in the morning, or until my wife woke up for work, just so she could get a full night's sleep. And my sleep, you know, I get in where I fit in, catch up on the weekends when she's off or whatever. We did what we had to do. Now, we had a support system. I mean, granted, my mom lived a couple hours away, but my mother-in-law is here. My brother-in-law is here. We have friends, of course, close friends and everything. So we do have a support system of sorts. Does this guy not? You don't have anybody? But he's also 24 years old. How smart were you at 24 years old? Yes. You've been a father for 10 years, but what kind of father? What have you been? What quality of father have you been? Have you learned anything over these last 10 years? And what job interview is 2 hours long? Now, let's say you got the interview and they're like, all right, we'd like to start the onboarding process. Let's get you set up, your uniform. Hey, can we reschedule that part? I don't have any childcare for my kids. You're hoping the people are understanding. If they have kids of their own, they are going to have a certain level of understanding. But hey, and in worst case scenario, what I would have done, I would have told, hey, 10-year-old, 6-year-old, you sit right there in silence. Like my dad would say, I don't want to hear a rat piss on cotton. The 1-year-old, you got to come with me. And hopefully the people understand that, you know, this is my situation and I have to have my 1-year-old here during the interview. I don't know, but I'm damn sure not leaving my 3 children at a McDonald's. I'm not doing that. Reschedule an interview. Sorry, I can't, take this job, go for another job. I don't know, man, but I'm not leaving my damn children at no McDonald's for 2 hours. What were you doing? Now, of course, like I said, he's been arrested because that is against the law. Hopefully they're lenient on him. But if it turns out that you were somewhere playing PlayStation or smoking weed or fucking around, then they need to throw the book at you and remove those children from your care, because you're obviously not intelligent or compassionate enough to take care of them. But, I'm not ready to throw the book at him yet, but it's a fucked up situation. What do you think? Meet me in the comments. What do you think about free childcare? Having a place where someone can drop their kids off from the hours of whatever to whatever so they can go to work. A place that would be clean, have healthy food, be teaching the kids something when they're of a certain age, because I think at 3, if they're potty trained, they can go to preschool. Of course, you'd vet the people who are working there as best you can. You unfortunately can't strain out all the perverts or the idiots, but some kind of free childcare. I'm for it. Sell me on it. Present to me a good business model for this, and let's do it, because again, society is judged how it takes care of its most vulnerable. Children and the elderly. Those are the two most vulnerable groups in our society. How do we take care of them? Do the elderly people have a place to enjoy the sunset of their life? Are they well taken care of? You've seen the videos of the people who mistreat them. You want to take those people, in a perfect world, you would take those people and get water to what they call a rolling boil and slowly lower them in feet first. But anyway, that's another video. But what do you think about free childcare? What do you think about this father? Have you been in that situation where you have no place to take your kids and you have to go to this interview or to this appointment? What do you do? What did you do? What happened? What do you think of him leaving his children in a McDonald's for almost 2 hours unattended? That's not good. That's not McDonald's responsibility. Again, why didn't you leave them at home? Does he really have no support system? And it said the mother came to pick up the kids. So it didn't say his wife. But again, if this dude is having kids at 14, his home life is probably a fucking nightmare. Probably raised by a single mom who was vindictive and mean and foul-mouthed and didn't give him the nurturing that he needed. I don't know. That's why I'm talking to you. That's why I'm going to you, the people. Talk to me, Goose. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.